what's everybody doing tonight? I'm trying to. Oh, let me rewind a little bit. This is Comic Talk. Yeah, I know. It's Comic Talk issue 4, and tonight we're going to be talking about Image Comics Nailbiter by Joshua Williamson and Mike Henderson. Yeah, got mine signed.
You got yours autographed.
Then I have the hardcover.
You have the hardcover.
Issues 1 through 10. So yeah, David, before we jump into this, how was your day?
Pretty good. Ran into some issues, which is why we're late, unfortunately. So I apologize to everyone for starting late. But yeah, technical issues must intrude, and I finally made it home.
Made it home safe.
Made it home safe. We're all in one piece, so yay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna skip the news because there's not a whole lot of news. So yeah, that's it. We're just gonna jump right into Nailbiter. What did you think? Just give me your quick thoughts on issues 1 through 5 of Nailbiter.
Okay. I want more. That's my thought. I want more. I didn't want to stop at 5. I want more.
Yeah.
One thing that really stands out for me is the story. The whole story behind it is really interesting. And I have to say I'm not as happy with the artwork as I thought I'd be.
Oh, see,
but
yeah.
But I really like the coloring. And so I definitely wanted to talk about that because the coloring was really interesting to me. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good read. It was a great first time read for me. So I'm really happy you recommended it, bro. It was a lot of fun.
I figured you like horror movies, you like slashers, and I thought I'm gonna throw Nailbiter at him because it's a horror comic.
Yeah,
and it deals with.
You can't scare me. You can't scare me. Keep those coming.
It deals with a town that's produced a handful of serial killers, and it's like, what is the deal?
And the town is called Buckaroo.
Yeah.
So,
it's
but they produced like 16 serial killers. And and this guy
Ed Warren. Ed, what's his name? Hold on, my brain went. Edward, it's Ed Warren. I was thinking of of the Conjuring people. I don't know why I thought Ed Warren.
Yeah, Ed and Lorraine Warren were the Conjuring people.
I was right.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So there's this cop guy who's trying to figure out what the whole thing is behind all these serial killers coming from this town, and stumbles onto something. Calls his buddy, who is a specialist interrogator guy, has him come, and by the time he gets there, his buddy's gone.
Yep.
So it's all about the partner working with the local sheriff, trying to find his buddy and trying to figure out what he found out.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to like jump you in and give you like the whole big story, like right off the bat.
For me, the interesting I love Ed Warren. I love the Nailbiter. I don't know what it is about his character. Do you want him redeemed? Does he get redemption? I'm not going to tell you. Can he come back from all the stuff he did? I remember I came across this. I was burnt out on Marvel in DC. Yeah.
So Nailbiter. And that's what I'm talking about with the coloring.
Yeah. It's very splashy. Yeah.
It's
dark too, the tone.
Yeah.
But I was tired of DC and Marvel's getting burnt out, same shit over and over. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dive into some Image. And this is one of the first Image books I dove into, and I fell in love because it was original. It hooked me right away. I mean, it hooked me so bad. I bought all the issues digitally. I bought all the trades, and I bought all the hardcovers. It's just like the movie addiction. You got to have all that.
You got to have the whole thing. You got to have the whole series.
So with that, let's jump into scoring this book. We're going to start off with plot. So what is your score?
Well, we talked about the basic plot, and I liked it. I thought it was a solid plot, a great like, something to kind of draw you in. Like, wow, all these serial killers come from here, and then the person
Yeah.
who may have like some just huge revelation as to why he vanishes, and his buddy's trying to figure out why he was called because he's basically, I don't want to say he's like the Jack Reacher guy, but he's kind of like that. He's an army
He is. That's a
interrogator.
very good.
As it kind of reminded me of a Jack
Mhm.
Reacher type person where he was called in. He's like, I'm called in because I have a particular skill
Yeah.
at getting the information that I want, but I have no idea. He didn't tell me why he wanted me here. He just wanted me. Um, and then there's a whole bunch of tie-ins to all the serial killers and then the people that live there currently and their relation to those serial killers. That was
Hmm.
like there's a bunch of layers to this plot that was really cool. So I gave the plot an 8
Oh, see, I went a little higher. I went 9, just a tad bit.
total.
I love how the naming of some of the serial killers. You got the book burner. Oh man, off the top of my head, I don't remember. But I just love how they incorporate, like you said, these serial killers into the town.
Mhm.
The extended families, and you got the sheriff who has a tie to,
Yeah.
and that was a great little twist
Yeah.
at towards the end. It was towards the end when they kind of reveal it, right? In the first 5 issues.
Oh, they reveal that early and
Oh, do they? Okay,
but then
I didn't remember.
yeah, it was revealed early and then it came back later
Okay, that's
on
maybe what it was. Yeah.
in the trade. So it was I mean, like right off, like first issue, they're like, "Oh, well, you're the granddaughter of blah blah blah," and the cop guy is like, "Oh, really? So what's up with that?"
Hmm.
And she's like, "No, I'm just here to do business. I'm not worried about my family and stuff like that." And then it kind of drops, and
Yeah.
then that past comes back and becomes more prominent later on in the thing. So
Do
that
you
was
think
cool.
it was too obvious for them to point at Ed for all the stuff that's going on? You think that was just a little too obvious, or a red herring? Is that what they call it? Um, when they try to, they want you to believe it's him, but in the end, you it's not. Do you think that that
Yeah,
was too obvious?
yeah, yeah.
I
It
did
was
too.
obvious. Yeah, it was. It was really pronounced to where you're like, okay, there's something
Hmm.
that doesn't feel right. Even though the guy was kind of
Like
playing
he
it
was doing.
coy, like, oh yeah, of course I did that. That was yeah. But you're like, okay, now I know he's got to be lying. There's got to be something going on. And Harrison jumped in with a comment.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, thank you. Just Googled a picture of one of the issues. Oh, I'm sorry, I should hit that. So
You
I'm
can
still
actually
trying to
display
figure
it.
this
There
whole
you go.
thing out. Just Googled a picture of one of the issues. There's a kid biting a giant thumb guy on the head. This looks insane. Harrison, it is fantastic. Here's the first trade of Nailbiter, autographed by Joshua Williamson. Fantastic writer. I recommend the trade. It's like $10. I think you can get it for $10. Image Comics does a
Yeah, it
great
was
job.
it was 9.97
Yeah,
when I bought it.
yeah. I love Image Comic first most of the time. New series first trades are under $10, so it's a great jumping on point. And then usually when they release the first trade, the second half of the story comes out, so you can read that first half and then jump on the second arc right away. So
Mhm.
they're pretty good at timing, and they're great at marketing their stuff too. So I highly recommend it, Harrison. Okay, and so we got the score for plot.
Yep.
I gave it a 9. You gave it an 8. So anything else you want to say about the plot?
No, it's the plot. It seems like it's going to be too hard to follow, but it isn't.
Mm-mm.
And that comes with the dialogue and the way it was written. I mean, at first you're like, "Holy crap, all these serial killers and all this stuff's going on." But no, it really kind of eases you in and that kind of leads us into the arc of the
Yeah,
story and the arc of the
let's
characters,
go to
which we're
art.
going to talk about next. I liked how the arc was. It
Me
was
too.
um because like I said, it doesn't start out too complicated. You think, oh crap, 16 serial killers, all this stuff's going on, everybody in the town's involved. What the heck happened to this guy? There's so many things to think about, but the the way the arc works and the way the story goes, it's really easy to follow. And I
Yeah.
I really
And they
enjoyed that.
don't throw all the serial killers at you at once.
No.
You get one or two, in the first, maybe three in the first
Yeah.
arc. Um,
Yeah.
but there's a shit ton more to come. 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't want to spoil it for Dave. I want him to take this journey. And
No, I'm down to read more of this for sure from Image
oh, good.
Comics. And but yeah, the thing about the arc though, and this was the negative that I had, was the arc of the characters didn't really come about until the very end.
Hmm. I agree
Um,
with you on that.
so everybody was exactly the same all the way through, and then at the end you start, once
Yeah,
everything starts coming to a head, which is like the very last issue, then you're like everything starts falling into place, and you're going, whoa. So the arc for the characters really doesn't work for me until the very end, but
I agree.
the arc of the story is great. So I unfortunately dropped some points for that, and I actually gave the arc a 6.
See, I'm a little bit higher than that. I'm a 7.
Okay.
I agree with everything you say there, but it's hard for me. I'm going to try to be as objective as I can because I
Yeah.
know where the story goes and I see the
And
stuff
that
that's planted in here.
and that's the
So,
thing. You can see the entire arc
mhm,
of the
yeah,
story, and I don't. I'm only
yeah,
seeing the first 5 issues and where it's at.
yeah,
And really, that arc doesn't end at
no,
5. And this
it's
when we
just
talk about the
beginning.
ending, that's gonna be a contributing factor there because it's that arc is still going
Hmm.
because, after the first trade, the story is not over. It's just getting started,
Yeah,
and
and
that's why I want more.
in the last page of this trade, you're like, oh man, you flip it and you're like, oh damn, it's over.
Oh, really? It's like,
Right?
dang it.
Okay.
I wanted a little bit more closure with that, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Okay,
We're
yeah,
gonna
you were at
go.
7 for the arc.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm putting it in the spreadsheet so we can
Okay.
keep track of all of our comic
You're
books.
the numbers guy.
I'm the numbers guy. All
So
right,
we're
so
gonna move on to the story.
we're
We
moving on
kind
to
of
the
already
story.
talked about it.
Yeah, this is my favorite part
Yeah.
of this comic. The story, it just sucks you in.
Right off the bat. It's
Right off the bat, you're like, "Okay, I need to know more. I wanna know more. I wanna know all
mhm.
about this stuff. Why are all the" I wanna know why the serial killers are there. I wanna know who these dudes are. What's up with these 2 punks that are being stupid to the girl? And then what's the girl's angle? Because her angle's weird. And
Mhm.
then,
The
what's
dude
the
with the
deal
horn mask. You
yeah,
want to know
what's
who
the
the hell
deal with
that
the
is?
sheriff? I thought the sheriff was weird, and there was something going on with her. Uh, and then the whole backstory with the soldier guy, that
I
comes
want
over.
more of that.
He's got,
I would have
like
loved to see a little bit more.
yeah, that's the thing. I wanted more,
Hmm.
but like I said, you just start to get like, oh, so here's what happened to that guy, and then you're getting some information about him that leads you to believe, okay, maybe this guy isn't on the up and up as you think he is.
Hmm.
So there's like so many small stories within this huge story.
I mean,
And
because they could easily take any one of these characters and give them a small mini series and
yeah,
to flesh out their
yeah.
lives.
Like
You know what I
like
mean?
yeah,
And
I would love a character development mini story with the main guy. And then I'd
me
love one
too.
with the sheriff um to get more about her. And I
Yeah,
thought that was really cool. So this was my favorite part. I gave the story a 10.
me too. I'm right with you on that. 10.
Yeah. That was my favorite part.
Yeah. I'm glad what I'm hearing coming from you makes me happy because I don't want to recommend something you don't like, especially in comic book form,
Yeah.
because that's kind of an investment. You have to sit down, pay attention. You can't read it and try to do work or have a conversation with somebody. You have to focus on that. And I don't want to waste your time giving you a book that you're not going to like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to characters. Now, this book has a whole cast of characters. Um, some of them I love, some of them I'm supposed to hate, and that's the point.
Yeah.
And you score yours first. I'm sorry. I
No,
got
that's
it.
okay. You can go score first. I don't care. We can, because we're sharing the score anyway. But there's one dude that you get to hate in this. This is Mr. Howdy himself.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
guy. That
I
guy is a total dick.
yeah, he's a douche.
Um, and basically just trying to make money off of all the serial killers and stuff like that. But then it goes so much deeper with him.
Yeah,
Um, but
he has
then
a
yeah, there are
connection.
characters you love, characters you hate.
Hmm.
They're all really written well
They are.
because
Joshua Williamson's a great writer.
there's definitely thought put into every character. It's not just, oh, he's just filler. Like I
Hmm.
thought the two punks were just going to be filler, but no, there's actually some
No.
story on them, and they come in toward the end in issue 5, and there's some stuff happening with
Hmm.
them. So I was interested. I much prefer like superheroes and powers and
Hmm.
origin stories and things like that. You don't get a whole lot of origin stories, and that's why I want more of that. I want more development. So I want to know how they got to be how they are. So ultimately I gave the characters a 7.
Oh man, see, you went way lower than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand that. I understand. I understand what you're saying, but for me, it's a 9. I'm going
Okay.
with a 9.
Well, that's
Uh,
not too bad. We're only 2 points off, but
um, because Ed Warren, absolutely love. I he's like I love him like I love Dexter. Um,
yeah, so you're
I
talking about Nailbiter, and that's one character I couldn't get behind.
yeah
And it was it was odd because it seemed like they were treating the sheriff and the other guy were treating Warren like he was a subpar serial killer.
yeah, but he's not.
But he wasn't. He's actually almost Hannibal Lecter level
Hmm.
in intelligence and stuff like that. But they didn't make him out to be like that.
See, the way I took it was they
You
didn't
know,
want to give him credit. They didn't want to acknowledge
yeah, they
his
just he was,
brilliance.
they were
He's
like, "Oh, really?
garbage.
You bite nails and stuff." But
Hmm.
when you know, that's one answer that you get is
Hmm.
why he bites the nails.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to spoil it. I want you
Yeah,
guys
well,
to
there's
read.
no spoilers. We're trying
No
not. At least try
spoilers.
not to spoil
No
it.
spoilers, but that's an answer that you do get,
Hmm.
and it's an interesting story.
Yeah.
So, and then the way it leads at the end with Warren, that led me to believe, oh, okay, that character is a lot better than they let out. And
Hmm.
but again, I'm not seeing the forest through the trees because I'm only 5 issues in.
Right. You're 5 issues in,
So yeah,
and
if
yeah,
I get to know the characters even further into the story, then yeah, I'm sure this would go higher.
yeah. And I also just I think the character of the daughter in here is very fascinating to me. I like her character a lot
Yeah.
in this.
The one that the boys were picking on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh no,
she's a little bad.
there's something going on. There's some trouble in River
Hmm.
City with that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm feeling like that there's something's gonna come to a head with her. But
Yep.
unfortunately, it didn't get there by
No,
issue 5. I got a little bit of a taste
you
with
did.
her.
You really
Um,
did.
and I was like, okay, I knew she was a little minx. I knew something was going on.
The way
Uh,
she handled the two dudes,
yeah,
before the
yeah. Oh, I knew, is girls are always more mature than boys, but
oh yeah, and
but
this,
yeah, oh, she was handling those guys like they were like little puppy
yeah,
dog. But it was interesting.
yeah.
But yeah, no,
She does
there's
a
there's
great in the
more to these
cop too.
characters. Yeah,
The
there's more
sheriff.
to these characters. It's just
Yeah,
it's unfortunate that by issue 5 I didn't get enough.
yeah. And
And
I'm going to give a little foreshadowing. Okay, how do I say this? When they introduce more serial killers,
mhm,
I love that you get the backstories too of some of these serial killers.
Oh, well, yeah, I want that. I want to know,
Yeah, I don't. I'm
don't
glad they
just
just
give me
didn't
the
keep it.
name
Yeah,
and
that's
how
what I
many they
did want.
killed. I want to know why. I want to know who these
Yeah,
people were, and yeah, I'd love flashbacks and backstories and origin stuff and things like that. And
me too.
uh, I dig it. But yeah, it just you only get so much with 5 issues. But like I said, it there was hardly any closure. Nothing. There just minor questions were answered, but there were so many questions I had at the end of this that I want to keep going. And
Yeah,
because of the story, it's worth it to keep going.
I think I just seen something that I messed up. Oh man, hold on. Sorry. Oh, I did myself here. Um, Okay, I messed up. Um, I'll get there in a minute. Ending. What did you think of um, the ending?
Okay. The eh, the ending was great. There was all kinds of stuff happening. I really liked the ending. My only hitch is that I did not get the closure on some things that I wanted, but that's because it's a long drawn out story. It's going to keep going. Unlike Annihilators, which finished pretty
Yeah,
much and led to the next thing, this one doesn't do that. This is like, okay, this is a long series. It's something that's supposed to keep dragging out.
yeah,
This is kind of this is one of those things like you're watching a TV show for the first time and the love interest isn't going to happen until season 5 because they're going to draw that out until they actually, or you're not going to beat the main bad guy that you're trying to get until season 5 because they want the series to drag on. That's what Nailbiter felt like to me.
it very
Uh,
felt like it feels very much like a TV show. You hit the nail on the head,
yeah,
and it feels very much, yeah.
there are some things that get done each issue,
Hmm.
but the main story just continues. It just keeps going, and you don't get a whole lot of answers as it's going
Yeah.
through. Except one. I'm not gonna tell you what it
Hmm.
is, but there was one thing that happened where they were like, okay, this was answered, but not why. And and then they go, here you go, watch, come and get the rest of the issues, which I am. Here's my wallet. Um, but yeah, so ultimately I gave the ending an 8.
I'm at a 9 with it.
Okay.
So we get to we see something happen at the bookstore, or not the bookstore, but the murder store. Is that what it's called? The murder store, right? Or
Yeah.
something like that. Something happens there, pushes the story somewhere,
Mhm.
and then we get this one ending page. Not gonna tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Like David said, you're like, "Fuck, I
Yeah.
want this more right now."
I want more. That's it. I didn't
Yeah,
why don't end right there. Just like you get
right.
that be continued and you're like, shit. But
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, there's like, yeah, you said there was the murder store and then there's the cemetery and
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
things
the
happening.
cemetery.
Yeah,
What's
there's things
underneath the
happening.
cemetery? Yeah.
Yeah, there's things, at the cemetery and there's things with the daughter and
Hmm.
and then there's things with Warren. So where one or two things might have been answered, you had like 4 or 5 new questions that popped up
Exactly.
at the end, and frustrating and anticipation for what's coming up next is what I got from it.
Yeah. Um, there's
So
tension
and
there too. I think
yeah,
there's.
and part of me wanted more closure. I wanted an answer with the 5th issue because I don't know when I'm going to be able to come back to this,
Yeah.
but part of me also liked the fact that the story is going to continue going. So it makes me want to keep buying this comic book.
Yeah. I'm glad. God, I'm so happy you liked it. Okay. So next category is color.
Okay.
And did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Okay. My mind I was like, oh man, did I spell that wrong? Um, color.
No.
You said you had a thing for the color.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I And again, this was probably, you know, now we're getting into talking about the artwork itself and the,
Yes.
you know, the layout and the lettering and all that stuff. So um I think the coloring is my favorite part of the whole artwork and stuff and the layout of the land. And it's because it's really dark,
It is.
but
It's not bright and happy.
it's, you know, but it's not supposed to, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, you get cover
Yeah.
art, it's really dark, but you can see when when it changes. So you get like this stuff where it's all gloomy
Yeah.
and crazy, and you're like, okay, so this is like you don't know what's going on, and
And
then you can see where these reds start coming in,
yes,
right?
there's
So
a
these
lot of red in this book, and I
there's a
don't
lot
mean
of
it
red,
from
and but the red
the
comes
blood
out.
either.
Yeah, the
There's
red comes
tones.
out, particular stuff, and the way
Yeah.
that they colored the fire,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed.
Oops.
Yeah, that's the cover of issue 2,
Yeah.
but there's one.
Okay, now look at this. Look at the color difference between this flashback photo
Right,
and um
because that
the
looks like a
next one
happy
underneath it.
wedding photo,
Yeah.
uh, and you think about that to where, you know, that's how Warren felt at the time, and then it all
Yeah.
kinda went south, and
Now the
I
colorist on this is Adam Guzowski. I think I'm terrible at names. But yeah,
yeah,
look at the oranges, the reds, and the
the way that
blacks.
the way that they colored the body, and,
Mm-hmm.
um, you can you can tell by looking at that it smells and it's putrid and
Mm-hmm.
it's nasty at the same time, and I don't wanna gross everyone out, but it's supposed to be a horror comic, so,
Yeah.
you know, and
And
then,
you
yeah,
we get that.
like you said, literally right after that, you get, like, this little flashback thing,
Yeah. This
and
is
but
this
as you get to, you know, you start getting to issue 3, the colors
and
start
look
to
at the
change.
flashbacks, how the flashbacks are colored,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and it's
you
gray. And I
yeah,
love that.
you can tell, you know, when it's happy flashbacks,
Mm-hmm.
everything is blues and bright reds and stuff like that, and then when it comes back to, you know, to what's going on,
Yeah.
your you get your deep browns and your blacks and your dark colors and um
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, I dug it. So I gave the coloring a 9.
Me too. I'm giving it a 9. He Adam Gu I'm gonna try to say his name again. Adam Guzowski. Um, fantastic job.
It's
Looks great.
Gazowski.
Gazowski. Okay.
Adam
See,
Gazowski
yeah, does great.
did did a really good job. I I would say that the was her name June Tran or something like that, the one who did Annihilators. I thought the coloring was a little bit better
Oh,
there.
yeah, but
But
that's superhero-y. It's
a
outer
superhero,
space.
it's supposed to be bright and shiny and
Yeah.
stuff like that. This is like this makes you want to take a shower afterwards because it's
Mm-hmm.
clean and it's raw and you can, I don't know, you could tell. It's almost like I could smell
That
what
town.
everything was like by the way the colors were.
Yeah. I think that town. When I read this, um, my mind just went blank. Whatever the town's name is,
It's Buckaroo, right?
Buckaroo. Yes, the Buckaroo. Yeah. It has in my mind when I see this, it
Yeah.
has a smell to it. You know how some towns have just a smell when you roll
Yeah.
in. This has
Yeah.
a smell, and to me, that smell is death.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say it probably smells like dead animal wherever you go in
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's what they call the serial killers here, the Buckaroo Butchers.
yeah, that's right. Buckaroo Butchers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so let's stick with the art. So we're gonna go right to the art. This is where me and you kind of have a difference on this.
Yes. So so while I really liked the coloring, the art not so much, but again, I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was still like 10 times better than that Rocket and Groot thing that we read.
I think your
Uh,
granddaughter could draw better than that Rocket and Groot.
I'm pretty sure she could draw better than I can. So, uh, and I'm pretty sure I could draw better than that.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, that was just really bad, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. And it was just basic, but the people are supposed to look normal except for when you see the serial killers, when you see Warren, you can see his, you know,
Yeah,
the way his eyes are, and he's got this cheeky smile like he's trying to be the Joker, and then
like full of
you've got Mr. Howdy with the hat, and he's just all portly and fat.
slime ball.
Yeah, he looks greasy, and he's just like, um,
There's
yeah,
Warren.
yeah, that with that coy thing.
Yeah.
I like the artwork, but yeah, and it was partly because I'm so used to superhero stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I want the artwork to be like bam, but I know it's not going to be here.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, because of that, and it's my own opinion, I
Yeah.
gave the art a 6.
Okay. Art is the same thing as film.
It's
Is
subjective.
all yes. Now, see, this is where we really differ. Is Mike Henderson? I think I love Mike Henderson's pencils in this. I think they're
Okay.
kind of raw.
Yeah.
Um, and the inker and the colors give it life.
Yeah. That's why I gave the points to the coloring on this
Yeah,
for sure.
and I like that raw feel to it. The pencils, they don't look heavy. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I would love to see his sketches before the ink and stuff hit the page.
Okay.
But Mike Henderson, you say you want superhero. He does a fantastic Wolverine. He did a Wolverine. I forget. Was it Old Man Logan? Another
Okay.
series. I think it was what it was Wolverine, and I really liked his run on that. I'm a huge fan of his, so I am going to give Art an 8 on
Okay.
this. I
Nice.
mean,
That's not
because
too bad. I was figuring like the way you were talking, you were going to give the art a 10. I'm like, then why did I
no,
give it a 6? I don't understand. But
no, 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 no.
I can see a 2-point difference. That's totally fine. Like you said, it's subjective where,
Mhm. I mean,
y-
even we'll get to. Oh yeah, I don't want to talk about that quite yet because
yeah.
we're almost there. But yeah, just looking at this art, I mean, yeah, I dig it. I really do.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I like he makes the characters different sizes. Some artists, they're all the same height, you
Yeah.
know. And their thickness, if that's the right word to use, they're all different. And it's something I pay attention to.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's copying and pasting his work. But yeah, an 8 for me.
Cool.
And then, so we're gonna go on to layout.
Okay.
Almost dropped it. Whew. Don't want to drop my book.
So this is, the paneling and where the speech bubbles are and the
Yeah,
narration things that it's not interfering with the stuff. And this is pretty basic.
yeah,
It
and that's what I like.
and I do like it
Yes,
simple.
it doesn't need to be complicated.
No, it's the panels. There's nothing, there's really straightforward. It's real easy to read.
Yeah.
There's nothing really
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, I thought we were on the same page.
yeah. There's not a whole lot of creativity and stuff. But I liked it. It was easy to follow. It had, everything's, squares or rectangles.
This is what I would call a one camera comic. Um,
Okay.
you put the camera or like a one camera movie. Like I think of the Mass. I think that's what it's called. The camera's just there. People sitting at a table. This is the kind of feel I get for this. People are in a store. They're in the morgue. They're in the graveyard.
Mhm.
There's not a whole lot of movement. If I'm making sense.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like you get the front views. You don't get like when they're in the cemetery.
Yeah.
What they find there. It's like boom, you're there. It's not. There's not a whole lot of depth to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just call this a single camera comic.
Okay. So yeah. So for the layout, Like I said, simplistic, nice,
Mm-hmm.
solid.
And that's
Uh,
good.
not a whole lot of risks were taken with it, and I'm okay with that. Um, Still, as a result, I gave it a 7. Thought it was solid, good but not great. I enjoyed
I'm
it.
gonna give it an 8
Okay.
because I love, like we're talking about the simplicity of it,
Mhm.
especially when you have all these characters they're introduced. You don't get confused like who's talking. You can follow, and the word balloons were all laid out perfectly. They didn't
Yeah.
distract you from the art. They didn't. It wasn't confusing to go from the one to the next. It was just like you said, simple. That's
Yep.
why. Now, the big one, um, writing. I love Joshua Williamson. This guy, he has another book. I think I might recommend it to you called Birthright.
Okay.
Kind of a
Are
fantasy.
are we talking about the writing or are we talking about the lettering?
I thought we were talking about writing. I thought we got rid of lettering, didn't we?
But I thought when we talked about Annihilators, we had writing at first, but I thought you wanted to change it to lettering. Because
I
this would
thought
be a totally different score. If I'm talking about the writing,
I'm talking about the actual writing of the book.
so yeah,
Yeah, let's go
not
with the
the
writing of the book.
I mean, not necessarily the story, but how it's written.
Oh shit!
So
We should have talked about that. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Um,
No, it's totally cool.
when I think of writing, I think of the writer who wrote it, like the story itself that's presented in these 1 through 5 issues.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking because we've already talked about the story, so we're talking about the mechanics of how it's written versus what the story entails. So just that's kind of where I was going, and I was going by what the lettering looked like and things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I see. My brain, I
so
forgot.
yeah, so
Um,
I was trying to make it different from scoring it as a
I see
story.
what you're. I see exactly what you're saying. Okay, I totally get what you're saying. So we will go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with the original thought. So go ahead. I love that the lettering in this. I love. Um, yeah, I'll let you go ahead because there's something I want to point out.
Okay. Now you can point out, but yeah, I mean, it's good and it's bad for me. Everything is the same. All the speech bubbles are the same. All the lettering is the same, but they're all talking normal. And you can tell who's saying it because it's in the right spots. This is kind of more of a layout thing, but I liked it. Like I said, it's solid, but not great. And I gave this another 7.
Notice, okay. See, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna show it to you.
Okay.
When they're talking about flashbacks, the font changes. I don't know if you can, if it picks it up
Yeah.
on there. It
Okay.
changes. It changes there, and there's another place that stands out. I just lost the page. Um, where'd it go? I guess I should have bookmarked this. Oh, right here. You can see. I don't know.
Buckaroo, Oregon.
Yeah, I said Washington, didn't I? When
Yeah, I think you said Washington.
I did. Yeah, I
And
love
then,
that when they go to the flashback. Uh,
yeah.
the
And I'm
font
also,
change.
I'm also looking at like this stuff, the
Yeah,
lettering,
the sound effects.
the sound effects, and how that's written. And there's not a whole lot of them,
No,
but when
you get a
you
couple people
get them, you
snooping.
can tell
Yeah,
that
the
that
spitting.
stuff going on. They stand out, and
Yeah,
it's readable, it's understandable. I'm like, okay, so smash, and then you got the murder store, and
yeah.
um, so it was just I like I said, it was solid. But I wasn't talking about the story. The story is absolutely
Hmm.
fabulous. I love the person who wrote it.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the mechanics of the writing, the
Hmm.
lettering and stuff, I thought it was solid again, but simple, easy to follow, easy to understand, no real risks involved. I didn't notice the font change until you
That's
said
something
that.
I pay
But
attention to
I think
because
it's subtle, but yeah, I like
mhm,
that. And I think subconsciously I kind of noticed, but it didn't really click with me as I was reading it. So yeah, I'm still gonna stick with my 7, but I liked it.
I'm gonna go with 8. I'm gonna go 1 point higher because of that font change.
Mhm.
I know I'm very not want to say particular. I look for it because if you're familiar with the Marvel Ultimate line, you're familiar with Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimates, Ultimate X-Men. Did you ever read those?
Yes.
Okay. Well, those comics, that Ultimate line had a particular font, and it was different from the regular Marvel universe.
Mm.
So when those universes finally met, and I forget what it was called, whatever crossover.
Mhm.
When Marvel, the regular 616 universe talked, had a certain font, and when the Ultimate Universe talked, they had a certain font. So I love the way it looked on the page. So ever since then, I've always paid attention to the font change, and I dug that here. So that's why I went with an 8.
Cool.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a simple one. There's not a whole lot to this book, but if
Yeah.
it was something like I'm gonna say Birthright, where there's a lot of action, there's like even The Walking Dead. I think it has some font changes if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's important. I think the distinction of past talking, current talking, or current conversation, or past conversations, even the sound effects. But what I don't like about sound effects is when they take up a quarter of the panel, where you hear a splash or a kaboom or whatever. I don't need it to go clear across the panel and take up the artwork. That's just
Yeah.
something I don't. So they did it very subtle here with the snoring and the gunfire and all that. So
Yeah.
it was nice.
Yeah, and a lot of it seemed like it was in the background, not in the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it didn't take away from the characters in the artwork. It just kinda showed in the background, and I kinda dug that. I thought that was cool.
Me too. So now we're going to go on to the final category, and that's cover.
'Kay.
I think the covers in here are fantastic.
Yeah, I like the cover art here, and I'm probably still lower than you on the score
Mm-hmm.
because I like I said, the cover art, I still think the coloring makes the cover art,
Yeah.
more so than the art itself. So, but I do like the cover art a little bit better than the art. I like the rigid lines and the way
Mm-hmm.
it's pronounced, the way it comes about. And I think, and I don't know if this is actually true in the real comic book, but one thing that I really enjoyed is I guess kind of the negative on the other side. So when you get the cover art
Yeah.
and and then you turn the page and you get kind of a negative.
That is usually 9 times out of 10. That is the second print. When the
Yeah,
first print sells out, they throw on the sketch. I call it a sketch cover, but you call it a negative. But I see what you mean by negative.
yeah.
Um,
It looks like a
they
negative of the
it's what it is. I'm so used to calling it sketch
yeah.
because normal time it's just black and white pencils.
So another thing, like so you got
Yeah,
issue
so you do
two,
have that,
right?
and then there's the negative
And there's
for
the
that.
negative on the other side.
Hmm.
And I thought that was kind of a neat little thing. I didn't
Yeah,
know if that was like on
that's for
purpose
second printing.
or
And if you go to the back of the
is that
book,
feed from the cover, or I don't know what that is, but it looked like a negative, and it was kind of neat
and
to
here
see.
you go. Here's the all the covers they did for the first 5 issues, the second printings, the third printings, oh shit, the exclusives. I don't know if you can see that because I can't see the camera.
Yeah, kind of see it.
Yeah, I love the issue 5 Ron Con exclusive. The red just pops.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys can see that right there.
Yeah.
I love that one, but that's not in the issue. That's an
Yeah.
exclusive they did, so that doesn't
Yeah.
count.
So, but yeah, and again, I consider that coloring and not part of the cover.
Mhm.
So I actually gave the cover art a 7.
Okay, again, I'm 1 point higher than you. I'm
Yep.
giving it an 8. I love Mike Henderson. I think he's a fantastic artist. Is he eye popping? No, but you don't need this book to be.
No,
Um,
you don't want it to be eye popping. You
no.
want it to be subtle. And
Have you seen this book? Also, it just dawned on me as I was talking about it. Did you ever watch Mayor of Easttown? on HBO Max with Kate Winslet.
No.
Oh, check it out. It's like it's 8 issues, 8 episode series, fantastic drama. This is kind of the feel of it. What I get this vibe from too. I get this feels like Mare Easttown too. We talk about as a TV show. This is really what it feels like too. I check Mare Easttown. Kate Winslet. She's just gorgeous, no matter what she does. So yeah, 8 for me.
Cool.
So interested to see our scores.
Yeah. So the math is done, and we gave Nailbiter an 80.
Ooh. I was hoping for a little bit higher, but that's okay. 80 is still a good score. That's a B, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is anybody that, hey, recommend something to me. This is my go-to. I don't like to recommend Marvel. I don't like to recommend DC, like superhero comics.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we get that in our movies. We get that in our TV shows, but we don't get something like this very often. Yeah, we get a lot of murder shows and stuff. But you want to read something, I will always use Nailbiter as my recommendation. For anyone that asks, it'll be check out Nailbiter. Cool. Like Harrison said last time, his recommendation was Dark Knight Returns, whatever that Frank Miller Batman story was. I get that, but how many Batman stories have we seen on TV? How many Batman movies have we seen? Haven't seen this. Yeah, we've seen serial killers, but we haven't seen somebody that bites nails. At least not yet.
Yeah, it's bound to happen though.
Yeah, I want this developed into like an HBO Max TV series. I don't want a movie because you just can't put this all in a movie.
No,
it's just too much.
No,
I think this would be a great adaptation for a TV series, a mature TV series, not like a CW or a Peacock or just it has to be Amazon Prime, HBO Max.
Yeah, I was thinking like a Dexter in the early seasons and things like that. How that one was. I enjoyed Dexter a lot.
I really like Dexter.
And this is kind of like, and they also had unfortunately it only lasted one season, but they did the series Clarice, which is based on Silence of the Lambs. And that was also really good. I enjoyed that a lot. It only went one season and they canceled it, but and I think part of it is because they were focusing on Clarice Starling and not doing anything with Hannibal Lecter in the series. Where I think if they'd have done that, because the Hannibal series with Mads Mikkelsen, that went several seasons. That was great.
3, I think. 3.
Yeah, I think it went 3.
Oh, I love that. That was fantastic. I can't believe what they got away with on broadcast TV.
Right.
They really pushed the boundaries.
Yeah, they did. They really like walked that tightrope of like Spencer's. They were like watching it with a fine-tooth comb.
Harrison, and thank you, Harrison, for sticking around.
Yeah.
Too many Batman is oversaturated. I'm willing to admit that. Me too. I love that. I've got a Batman shirt on. I love Batman. But would I recommend a Batman story for somebody that's not into comics? No. I will try to do something that's kind of outside the box for comics.
Generally, yeah. If someone who doesn't read comics already knows about Batman and still doesn't read comics, I'm not going to recommend a Batman to them. I'm not going to recommend Marvel if they're like, oh yeah, I've seen the MCU movies and I'm just not. And I'm like, okay, if you want to know about a comic book, I'll give you something else. I mean, like I said, me personally, I'm a Marvel guy through and through. But yeah, I would go a different way, like with a Spawn or Faust or something like that, and give them something to really sink their teeth into.
My go-tos are Nailbiter #1, of course, Walking Dead, and then there's a book. It was a sci-fi. I think it was on Sci-Fi. It ran one season, and it was fantastic. And it was Deadly Class. Are you familiar with Deadly Class?
I did see it on Sci-Fi. Yeah.
Okay.
That was
The show was good. Nowhere. Didn't even touch the surface of how good
Yeah.
the comic is. Oh, that's another book I recommend. Is that I'm went blank. Oh, Stillwater. That's another good one from Image Comics. Something is Killing the Children from Boom Studios. Usually it's books like that, horror book. No, I won't say horror books, but just books that are not superhero, because
Yeah.
superheroes are everywhere. I want you to read something and enjoy something that you wouldn't see on TV.
Yeah, because I mean, generally, if you're a big comic book guy, then you know all the superheroes and you've
Yeah,
read all the superheroes. So even still, if someone want a recommendation, I would recommend something that's really off the mark, something
yeah,
that's not Marvel or DC, or even if it is something else, because like DC comics, like the Losers and Red, I really enjoy those, and those are just normal guys.
yeah.
And I like the movies that are based on those too. But again, like especially with the Losers, the movie does not do the comic book justice.
No, and see, and this might be sacrilegious, but I am not a fan of Watchmen. Everybody goes, "Oh, the Watchmen's a
I'm not a
masterpiece."
fan of Watchmen either.
I'm strictly talking about the comic. I don't mind the movie, um, which is weird. I am not a fan of the Watchmen comic book. I don't know why. It just doesn't hit with me.
Mm,
Have you ever read the comic?
no.
Yeah. Maybe you should check it
Uh,
out. I mean, you might like it. I don't know.
DC, I don't know, but yeah, I did not care. I thought the movie was all right,
Yeah.
um, and I tried to watch the series that was
Oh,
on
that
HBO.
series was so good.
Yeah, it
I
was like
love the
I
series, man.
bought it because eventually I want to watch it, but I'm so apprehensive because I didn't care for the movie as much as I
It has
mean, every
nothing to
people
do
were
with
like, "Oh my god, great movie," and I'm like, "No," and I like
Regina King.
Regina King, um, and I'm interested in seeing her character and how she plays her. But yeah, I don't follow the Watchmen. I never liked Doctor Manhattan. Um,
This Watchmen series, the TV show, has nothing to do with the comic. Some of the same characters, but it is nothing like the movie and nothing like the comic, which why I loved it. Did you get the Steelbook, the Blu-ray Steelbook? Because that's a great looking Steelbook.
no, I just got it on DVD.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I recommend you watch that sometime. Just take the time, watch an episode a night, a day, whatever, and tell me what you think.
Yeah, I've got so many movies that we have to watch, bro.
I know, man. You know what I've been doing? We're going off the rails here, but I've been for our by the numbers show. I'll watch one. No. I mean, not by numbers. Our alphabet show. I'll watch one of those, and then I'll go to my movie collection challenge. I'll watch them off my shelf. The next in the numbers, I'll just rotate. So
Yeah.
just keep it fresh. Keep me. Like today, I watched Young Guns.
Yep.
I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
saw
that in a long time. So I'm interested to talk about that too. Well, I think that's really it, man.
Yeah.
Our next episode will be February 9th. And as of right now, things could change. We'll have Tim Talkies. It's a mouthful for me.
Triple T.
Yeah. I'm going to be interviewing him because he likes comic books too. And when I found that out, I had to have him on here because he's mostly a movie guy. I don't hear him talking about comics. I don't even know how it came up. I think it was on Geeks and Flicks.
Yeah,
On
because I think Alex was talking about that.
Yeah, it was on Collector's Cave, I think.
Yeah.
Where it originally came up. So I've always had him in the back of my mind. I want him on here because I love his movie talk. He knows everything about movies, and I just want his thoughts on comic books. So what do you have coming up, man?
Well, let's see. We have By the Numbers on Monday, where we're gonna talk about some new releases. And then we are going to do our Oscar predictions.
Oh yeah,
Just a quick thing about that on Monday. Um, my Spirits with Spirits podcast has moved to Friday officially as of last week, And this
Everyone
Friday,
go check that out.
I hope you guys do. We signed a TV deal with Scare Network TV. So I'd like to get everybody to jump on scarenetwork.tv and do a subscription with them because they have all kinds of paranormal shows, documentaries. They're even putting in like some horror movies. They've added a couple of Japanese horror movies and stuff. So
I see they just got an exclusive to something that was going to premiere on there, and I
yeah,
forgot what it was.
yeah, um was it Synopsis or something like that? There's what did I know there was a Japanese movie that they
Yeah,
just signed a deal with.
I think that's what I saw. I want you guys to go listen to their podcast on Screenbox. Help them out. Help them get the viewers so they can stay on there for longer. Go listen to the podcast. Go to
Yeah.
Spotify. Listen to the Lowdown podcast. Because tell them about the Spotify. What do you have all on Spotify?
Well, let's see. So on Spotify, so the 4K Lowdown is on Spotify, and also Amazon Music and iHeartRadio. So our shows that we do live and some of our recorded shows go on to Spotify. And then we are sponsored by Anchor, who they take our show and they put it on all those audio places. So that's going to be awesome. But Spirits with Spirits also is on Spotify and iHeartRadio, Breaker, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, all that stuff. Radio Public, I think also, and it's also live on Twitch as well as YouTube and Facebook. But we signed exclusive rights to Scare Network TV. So we do an hour episode that is strictly for Scare Network TV. It's not anywhere else. And then we do our live stream on Friday nights. And that is the one that goes on to Spotify and stuff like that the next day.
I think it's great what you guys are doing. I love all things paranormal.
Yeah.
You had some cool stuff happen. Was it last week? Yes, last week.
Yeah, we had some cool stuff happen, and we actually it was interesting because we did a show about haunted locations in Maine. And one of the things we did a show on Scare Network TV, which was a location there. And in that location, they had a little boy that was haunting an apartment upstairs at this location. When we finished the episode and we started doing the live stream, we were getting orbs at my friend's place in Colorado, and he's got a portal in his house. So he gets paranormal activity all the time. We started seeing orbs in his house, and then he and his girlfriend started seeing the ghost of a little boy in his house.
I would have packed my shit and left it. No way.
So he cleansed the house and the spirit left, but he was trying to figure out where this boy came from. And I said, I think it came from this location, because literally right after we did that spot, we were on the live stream, you got the orbs, and then you started seeing this little boy. And we pegged it as an intelligent hunt. So it was interesting. We also got some interesting responses on our Ovilus device, which basically takes the electromagnetic spectrum and puts it into words, which
that's what that talking is, right?
It says like one word responses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about a woman who supposedly committed suicide at this location. And we were wondering how she fell off the balcony, because apparently she fell off the balcony to her death. She was never identified. This was in 1930. And they called it an apparent suicide because there was no one in the balcony at the time. They had no evidence of foul play.
Maybe so, she take a selfie.
And I was watching it. I was rewatching the episode today, and while we were wondering how she fell off the balcony, John, my partner, his Ovilus device said backward, and we didn't catch it during the show. was like, I wonder how she fell.
Ah,
And then his Ovilus said backward. And we were like, whoa.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was like, oh, dude, you got to check this out. And I sent it to him and he was like, wow, that's cool. But yeah, we didn't catch it on the show live because we were too busy going back and forth about how this girl died. But his Ovilus had said backward how she fell. And I thought that was a really cool catch after the
Yeah,
show.
they do a great show, guys. If you have not checked it out, go check it out. Um, it's worth a watch because it's creepy too. I ain't gonna lie, man. If a little scary ass boy showed up in my house, I'm out the door. I don't care.
I'm out.
No,
I'm tipping.
no. I was gonna say this. White people are brave. Mexicans, we ain't done. We're done.
White people are dumb.
We're done.
And, speaking as a white person, we're
No,
dumb. Oh, I wonder what that is. I'm gonna go take a close look. No, you
no.
know, in fact, there's a church here in town that they've talked to me about investigating because apparently there's a demon in this church. The church has been closed and abandoned for years. And they're like, "Hey, we think there's a demon in this church. Do you want to investigate it and check it out for us?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. Just let me know." And then
No,
my wife's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
no, 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 no. Oh man, David.
I know, right?
So one day we're
Uh,
gonna be on a feed and your head's gonna start turning.
I'm gonna I'm gonna be like, "No."
No way. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Go check out Dave. I think I have your Instagram, your YouTube in the description. He has a great Instagram channel. His YouTube, he's always putting content on there, unboxings, town halls. Go support him and hit my Instagram. That's where I do most of my stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, TurnerFan77. That's it. Anything else?
No, Nailbiter was great. I'm looking forward to our next one.
Oh yeah, Walking Dead.
Yeah,
We're gonna be
we're
doing
gonna take a
Walking
look
Dead.
at Walking Dead because I am a big fan of the show, but I've never read the
Me too.
comics, so I'm
Oh,
really
you're in
into
for a treat.
yeah.
You're in for
I
another treat.
I can't
Well,
wait.
God, guys, take care. God bless. See you guys later.
Bye, everybody.